Hello, redheaded step family. I'm just in from out of town. Been home for a couple nights, and I'll tell you, I'm 100% out of the loop on everything. Hello, whoever just entered. Um, Let me see. If you do comment, I should see it on the right hand side. I am working through StreamYard, and I'm going to invite anybody up who wants to speak and update me on things that are going on. So let me dig for the link. Private chat layout, destination, settings, camera, audio, recording, invite guests, copy, copy, copy. All right. Now, how the hell do I post this thing? There we go. I think I posted it. All right. Enable chat overlay, yada, yada. Hopefully, I did post it. Yeah. And hopefully, that is a live link. Patriot Lily, welcome. If anybody wants to come up, Brian, welcome. Mean Wolverine. That's what I'm asking you guys. I have been out of the loop. I have been on several amazing adventures across the United States in the last few. That's a energy drink, not a beer. I'm not a beer person. And I was wondering if anybody wanted to fill me in because to be completely honest, since the Tuesday before last, I have heard absolutely nothing. I know nothing that's going on. There's already a guest that would like to come up. Yeah, Patriot Lily, I'm gonna try and bring you in, but you may have had to uh, uh, enable your microphone at least. And sometimes if you're using, I think Firefox, it doesn't work and it's not lighting up. So I'm going to try. Patriot Lily, it's not letting me. Yeah, it's not letting me bring you in, and that's a shame. Yeah, it's not letting me let you in. So either you're using Firefox or you did not allow. You do not have to allow camera, but you do have to allow. And it seems like 2 out of 10 people have a hard time coming in. So I do see that you are in the backstage area, but I cannot bring you in. It is just a black and white. Patriot Lily. Okay, that's a shame. All right, so until somebody wants to come up, I'm just going to share my week. Marguerite, welcome. Patriot Lily says, I'll try again. From computer. Interesting. And Patriot Lily is one of the new members on the other channel, and they're going to get a buttload of content. Right now, I have 2 months filled up. So let's talk about 2 exciting things I did. Let's talk about UFO hunting, which we very successfully did. And I'm going to preface this because I know when I post the videos, there's going to be a ton of doubting Thomases. It costs a small fortune to go with this woman who's been doing this particular job for about 15 years. Landy, hello. I love chickens too. You know, I sold the girls. If you haven't heard, the girls went I wasn't going to be here for about 10 days. So, and I didn't really have somebody to watch them. So I sold them, and I had $300 in my pocket when I left. And right now I've got 12 of that left, which is a very successful, uh, reserving of money, because the host that had us pretty much didn't let me pay for anything. I spent $2,000 on round trip tickets with a small bedroom on Amtrak, and what I spent doesn't hold. Why do I always mess up that saying? It doesn't hold a candle to what they invested. So it was a small fortune to go out and watch military vehicles escort UFOs into Secret Mountain. Now, Secret Mountain is not a military base. Secret Mountain was named by the government in 1984. In Sedona, Arizona, it's a city ordinance that you can't have street lights, or they have to be at a very low rate of light. I believe it's no street lights in the neighborhoods. The house lights have to be dim so you do not interrupt the viewing of the stars. I saw the Milky Way every single night. I saw more shooting stars than I could have. I've only seen one before, and based on what I saw, it was nothing. Let's see. I got to keep my eye on that backstage again. There should be a link. I'll try and post it again if anybody wants to come up and fill me in on what's been going on in the last week. Oh, come on. There we go. It should go in. So, Secret Mountain, not a military base. At the point that we were sitting, I believe Belmont, Arizona, which was over our shoulder and over behind our shoulder, but behind our back and to the right of where we were sitting, I believe. And there were, and that is the only known military base within a good distance of Secret Mountain. Now, to see what's going on at Secret Mountain, you do need to have the night goggles. And the woman that ran this tour for 15 years has the retired military used, and she pays $3,500 per pair, and they're junky. I mean, they got some miles on them. So what we observed was we were able to identify F-16s, fighter craft based on their blink. She explained the blink, the helicopters based on their blink, and the military blink is blink, blink, and blink. So it's boom, 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 boom. That's how the light, the pattern of lights pops up. So what we saw all night long was helicopters literally going up and down like elevators, whether they were bringing in a craft. Now, the UFOs were not blinking. I even have a UFO, and I confirmed it. And I believe that my phone was more sensitive than the human eye, because I actually have a 3-light UFO in my video, and nobody could see it through their goggles. But what I had to do all night was hold my camera up to the goggles to get the video. So I do have at least one craft that had 3 lights. Now, the reason that you need night vision goggles is because the light that they're putting off is so dim you can't see it unless you're below it or around it, and no one is below it or around it, because it's over a 10, I think she said, an 8 by 12 square mile 8 miles across, 12 feet wide, 12 miles wide of no man's land where all these operations are happening. So I have a little under an hour of this footage that I'm going to edit down, and I'm going to put out a nice video for the subscribers on the Fun channel. And then for our dear members, including Patriot Lily, she'll get a longer, more explained version, and maybe even the audio of our host for the evening. But when the whole thing was said and done, there was no one who dropped money that would say they did not get their money's worth, that the experience did not stand toe-to-toe with what they told us we would get. We got a lot of UFOs. Now, I contend that all these UFOs are made by us. Her circle of friends contend that is a military base that can be entered, and there is humans working with aliens there. And her name wasn't Madeline. I keep getting it. Melanie, maybe? Melanie. And so to each their own, it doesn't matter. But what we do know is that there are hundreds of military flying apparatus going in and out of this mountain. And this woman has set up shop all the way around this 12 mile by 8 mile rectangle of space, and have seen these things going up and down from every angle. So she's triangulated exactly where they're coming from. She knows they're not coming from another military base. She's located all those. And there again is supposed to be no military base there. Again, if somebody would want to go backstage, I have no idea with what's going on in the news. So the evening was extremely interesting, and I'm going to have to literally take. It's going to be over a month before I get that out, before I even get it edited, because I may have to put in little markers or arrows so you could see what I'm looking at. And actually, I'll probably voice over the public video, and then I'll cut out all of the good footage out of the hour and let you hear what the woman is saying. A lot of times I was not focusing on what the woman was saying. Like at the beginning of the evening, she counts like 10 military aircraft coming in from what is most likely another military base to Secret Mountain, all in a big gaggle together. Okay, we got somebody backstage. Add to stage. You are live with us, Patriot Lily.
Well, hello there, Red. How are you doing?
Very good. You got a nice voice.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I had a question for you.
Shoot.
So, I believe that we are on a flat earth.
Yes,
I believe that's what the Bible tells us.
Mm-hmm.
So, if these are aliens, are they coming from beyond the ice wall?
That's always been my assumption, or that's my current stance. That's exactly what you said. They're coming from beyond the ice wall. We share the plane of existence that we're on. What most people call the ball of Earth, I believe, is a plane, and the plane, a flat, a flat piece of ground that goes on for, infinity. Who knows? It goes farther out than we'll ever travel, I believe. And everything that they call aliens is from here. Do they have the ability to time travel? Probably, but I believe Donald Trump already told us that we have the ability to time travel. Like 2 months ago, he said that we could get, or it was the guy that was standing in the newsroom, in the briefing room, that said that, and then Donald Trump reiterated it in lesser words the next day. So we already have time travel to a certain extent. I think he said we can get from one side of the planet to the other in an hour. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, I
And
think I heard that. Yeah.
yeah, so I would say that whatever is there, and it would make more sense if we're working with other beings that are on God's planet, on God's flat Earth. Then it wouldn't make sense that we're working with something that's from a completely different planet that doesn't use oxygen, that doesn't have the normal growth of trees. I mean, the other planes, which means there's other suns, you know, that provide them warmth and heat. But nonetheless, I think that those other places are still going to have trees. They're still going to have, you know, flowers or something like flowers. And it would make more sense because we're both able to breathe oxygen at the same percentage, from whatever plane they're on and we're on. I mean, unlike, you know, it may be the difference of being at 700 feet above sea level, which I'm at now. And last week I was at 7,000 feet above sea level, and breathing was a whole different game for the first few days. But
Right.
nonetheless, I was still breathing oxygen. So maybe those aliens are dealing with that. They have denser oxygen or less condensed oxygen across those planes. That's totally my belief system.
Okay, that makes sense.
How
I'm
about you?
glad to. Well, I'm glad to hear we're, thinking the same as far as flat Earth. Um, I can't get my husband to think that's true, nor a lot of my Christian friends. They're like,
What?
no, yeah,
Christians?
yeah, yeah. I have. It's actually my son's in-laws, who are, you know, really religious people. How I'm a Christian, but I don't go to church. I don't. My church is wherever I talk to God. So there's that. But I posted one time on Facebook that I believe that we're on a flat Earth, and she said something about, oh, the Bible says I don't, blah 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 blah, and I was like, yeah, and however, it says that there's four corners of the earth. It says that we have a firmament. How does any of that work with a globe? I'm not sure. And why do we see rainbows the way we see rainbows? So I,
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, I think you're correct. And if we investigate who gave us the globe in the classroom, and I believe it was not the Rothschilds, but the Rockefellers. And if we investigate who gave us modern medicine, where we went to solving problems with pills from solving problems with natural organic items that God gave us here on this earth, which is what we were doing before. And the Rockefellers are also the people that stomped out the new type of doctor that was coming out that was doing natural medicine, and you can get a doctor's degree and treat patients with natural medicine. About 8 years ago, that got stamped out. My cousin's girlfriend was in the middle of that program when it got stamped out at her college. So she had invested all these years in this program that was going to allow her to treat people without pills, without connection to these pharmaceutical companies. And the Rockefellers stamped that out. So the Rockefellers gave us the globe in the classroom. The Rockefellers gave us the medicines in the early 1900s. The Rockefellers came up with the staff with the two snakes around it. Well, they actually took that from that satanic statue with the goat head.
Right.
So if there's a satanic statue that has the symbol for medicine in between his legs, and that goat-headed statue, the people who used that symbol are the same people that gave us a globe. and are the same people who just stamped out this new. It was not even the new form of medicine; it's the original form of medicine, the original form of treatments. That people were going to actually be able to get their doctor's degree and treat people, and that got stamped out by the same family. It's like, you believe in two things and not the one that all came from the same source. It's kind of weird. You either have to go, be 100% in on all three events, or you have to exclude all three events based on the source who created the events. So they got their foot on the dock and one foot in the boat, and that's kind of where they're telling you that they're standing, and they don't realize it, and they're about to do the splits on the boat. As soon as the boat goes a couple inches away, it's a very dangerous spot to be in. And yeah. I don't trust anything the Rockefellers ever did.
Well, no. And I saw a video once of an elderly woman who said she was taught that it was a flat earth. That when they started saying it was a globe, she was like, they're just crazy. And I'm like, well, I wish I had people around me that, maybe had some of that connection to what was taught back in the day, and, could have some conversations with those people. But I have no one around me that believes any of this stuff. So
it's hard to declare yourself a Christian and question the Bible.
Well, they put a different spin on it, and on the one hand, I can't blame them. We were all at one point there, and not, we believed what we were taught. And for me, I think once Trump got in, because I believed everything too, but once Trump got in and I saw how he was just being attacked, that's when I woke up. That's when I started to say, something's not right here. This is not the way the news used to be. And you used to get two sides to a story, and you don't get that anymore. And that's when I started just doing a little bit of digging and realizing the horrors of what we've been living.
And that was like 2015 about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about when I flipped. Because of my hatred for George Bush and his cronies, senior that is, I despised. Well, I think it's natural in your 20s and your early 20s to think democratically, or as a Democrat, I should say. And then my extreme hatred for the Bush family and the Cheney family, and what I saw with them doing in Desert Storm, and then I was the age to go to war. I probably have been a libertarian, but I always voted Democrat up until 2015. Now, Dr. John again approached me in July 8th, 2013, or I think it was 13. It was either 13 or 10. And I was still a Democrat at that time mentally, before I started to see that the evilness that I knew was taking place in the Republican Party had overtaken the Democratic Party. And then me and you kind of came to the same conclusion at the same time, saying, okay, it's kind of both parties, and we have to be very careful with the Republicans. And on that note, I'd like to say, I don't believe that any of us watching this show are actually Republicans. I think we're MAGA.
I have to agree with that. I think, well, first of all, for me, my family came from Cuba. So I grew up knowing what communism was. And my father instilled in me to never vote Democrat. because it's, just inches away from being communist.
Yes.
So I voted Republican my whole life, not knowing that the Republicans I voted for were rhinos. In a lot of cases there with Bush in particular, both of them, and not knowing just how evil they were. But of course, I learned that probably I might not have learned that until around somewhere between there and 2020. I don't remember specifically, but to find out, about 9/11, and I'm sure I'd heard a little bit here and there about it, but didn't believe it. I was like, no, I voted for him. How could he do that?
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, with what my father told me about communism, and just believing that Republicans were the way to go. It took a little while, but I'm definitely there, and I still don't trust a lot. Still don't trust the people around Trump, and I'm praying that he is what we think he is.
Amen. That conversation has come up a few times this month. And I want to correct myself. I actually did vote. I think it was the primaries. I think it was the first time I was able to vote for Ross Perot. And then he ran again the second time and dropped out. And I was a big Ross Perot fan. I don't remember if I made that. If I made.
But what was he, independent?
What's that?
Was he independent?
Yeah, he was the independent that kind of screwed it up the first time and got Clinton in there, I believe.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the way it went. But I was a Ross Perot fan, and I kind of think of Ross Perot because Donald Trump was not a Republican. I should rephrase that. Donald Trump did not join the Republican Party until he got rejected from the Democrats, which was, 2013, 14. I mean, he was a New York Democrat the whole time, not being a part of the swamp, because the swamp wasn't really as in your face as it is now. But I think the rejection of Trump from the Democratic Party kind of woke him up when he started realizing that there was a swamp, and then the Republican Party were the only ones that were accepting of him. So basically a New York Democrat turned to the Republican Party to run, and Ross Perot being, and this is not the best analogy, but he was kind of the John the Baptist to Trump's Jesus. He was the predecessor to the idea of let's run this country like a business. That was stomped on clearly. I saw recently a documentary about Perot and how Bush was after him because he was only taking votes from the Republican Party or support away from the Republican Party. And then Trump comes in, and I don't believe Trump is like, he's as much as a Republican as I am a female. He's got he's under their banner, but he's MAGA. There's a MAGA party that will continue on without him. When he passes, this is not something that's going to die with Trump.
Right.
It's going to continue.
I agree. And I don't think we're going to be a two-party system anymore either. I don't know exactly how that's going to work out, but
Australia, I think it's Australia or New Zealand. And if someone in the chat from Australia or New Zealand, I got viewers from both. If you're in the chat, correct me. But they use a 1-2-3 voting system. So what you do is you pick your first candidate and you give them 1 vote. You pick your second favorite candidate, you give them 2 votes. Your third favorite candidate, 3 votes, and whoever has the lowest number wins.
That's interesting, but Australia is really screwed up, aren't they, right now?
Yeah.
So maybe that's not the best way to go either. I don't know. I don't even pretend to say that I know what's right. I just pray a lot.
Amen. And they do have us really the MAGA press is very easy to step into the piles of poop left by the Democrats simply by using their terms. The very, very first term, political correctness. It all stems from that term in 1999.
You are absolutely right. I hated that. I hated that.
I have younger sisters that would correct me on Facebook and use the phrase political correctness. And I was so disgusted the first time. I remember reading it for the first time and feeling how disgusted when I saw the term political correctness.
Yeah, because Clinton was so politically correct, wasn't he?
Right. Right.
Well, thank you for letting me in here and have a discussion with you. It was fun.
Can I ask you a couple of questions about what's going on this week? Because I have no idea what's in the news or what's important.
I don't know. There's so much crap. I can't keep it straight. Honestly, I feel like we're just bombarded with so much information that I can't tell what's the distraction and what's, look here, not there. And it's just too much of it. I'll be the first to say that it's just, it's crazy. And it's, I don't know. It's a bit overwhelming. And I tend to kind of look to you guys and Nino and Phil Godleski and some, different folks, even what Stephen Gardner.
I was just thinking his name.
Yeah.
We're having a psychic touch.
Apparently. I really like him.
He's on it.
Yeah, he really is. But and then kind of just pick from the things that they say, and I fortunately have a son-in-law that is, not because we're not conspiracy theorists, we're truthers, but for lack of a better term for him, conspiracy theorist before I ever was, I think, because he would say some stuff and I was like, yeah, okay. All right, daughter, I'm not real sure what you did here, but he has, I have learned that he is an amazing young man, and we kind of send each other little things, and he sends me stuff that's kind of against Trump. He is MAGA, but I think we're all just a little bit concerned about some of the things that are happening. Like, I'm not crazy about this whole Bitcoin kind of stuff, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it's officially called by Trump. I'm not crazy about all of that stuff. I'm going to stick with my silver and gold. But
amen, sister.
I don't know. And I have to thank Phil Godleski for that, because I wouldn't have even thought to do it. Never would have thought I could afford to do it. And praying that what's being said out there comes true, and I can get out of what debt I have and live the life we're supposed to live. Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask you how you're purchasing the silver?
So I did some through Phil with 7K Metals. I get like 1 coin a month through 7K Metals, and then Goldco.
Ed, do you have any coin shops in your area?
Yeah, probably. I'm probably about an hour. I'm out in the country. I'm probably about an hour from anything like that. But I have hesitated to because I don't know what I'm looking for.
I can help you with that.
Okay.
I can make it really easy, and I can make it really, really cheap.
Okay.
So when you go to a coin shop, or you can go to Amex, or you can go to SD Bullion, those are two trusted, very well trusted websites in the silver and gold community, which is where Brett S., Gibby, and I, and not to forget JT Coin Rings, the four of us, and those are all names you've probably seen or heard.
Yes.
The four of us all came from that very small knit community. In that community, you won't see commercials for gold and silver companies because we know that there is a cheaper way. And there are coin collectors. Brett S. is more of a coin collector than he is a silver stacker because he cares about the condition of a coin, as where for a lot of his stack, we call it a stack. So your gold and silver coins are the stack that you have. That's why my name is Red Step Stacker, because I'm a redheaded stepchild who stacks silver.
Okay. I wonder what that came from.
That's exactly where that came from. My original channel, just before I hit 1,000 viewers, I got my channel hacked because I was shooting off my mouth about the political stuff. So when you find, or if you go online to Amex or SD Bullion, they both have apps. When you go into a coin shop, you ask for the junk silver.
Okay.
And what that is, it's constitutional silver. So it's coins minted 1964 and earlier. So you got your quarters, you got your Franklin half dollars, you got dozens of other kinds of half dollars or half a dozen that lead all the way back to the 1800s. And no matter what how rare or crazy the coin looks like, it's not worth more than its weight in silver. So $1.40 in any combination of change from 1964 or earlier, say you got one half dollar, a Franklin half dollar in your pocket, two Washington quarters in your pocket, and 4 dimes in your pocket, Eisenhower dimes. That's 1 ounce of silver. $1.40 in any combination is 1 ounce of silver. Okay. Now, the way they charge you is pretty. I'll make it simple. They charge you. It's called times face. So, say if you bought a Franklin half dollar, 2 quarters, and 4 dimes, and that's $1.40, and they say we're charging 10 times face, you're going to pay $14 for those quarters. Now, right now, that 10 times face is really like 21 times face. And when I first got into the silver game, it was $17 an ounce. It dropped down to $13 an ounce. It shot back up to about $20 an ounce, and it's kind of been hovering up and down, give or take $5 for years now. But the point is that you're getting that constitutional silver. It's called junk silver or constitutional. You're getting it cheaper than you can get it anywhere else. It's not taxable because it's not a bullion. Bullion is just a fancy little thing that looks like a coin, but it's not a coin. When it's minted by the U.S. government, if you're in a state that charges tax on silver and gold purchases, you bypass that because all you did was buy money.
Okay.
See, so that's another way to avoid it. Plus, you're going to be getting it for $3 or $4 cheaper an ounce than if you just bought a bullion coin.
Okay.
You know, like those really cool bullion coins. I have an Indian on one side and a buffalo on the other side. I have one of a viewer sent me one once, and I have one of those, and I'm happy with any kind of silver. But when I was really, really broke, which wasn't too long ago, I would go there and I would just buy 2 or 3 dimes. At the time, they were like $1.60 a piece, I think. $1.60. I'd literally go in there with $5, walk out with 3 silver dimes, go home, come back the next paycheck, go in there, spend $8, and I would literally slowly accumulate the constitutional silver. Here's the last and most important thing about that silver. No one questions whether that coin that was minted by the U.S. government is silver or not.
Okay.
With a bullion coin, if you're on the street chopping it up, trying to buy a loaf of bread or buy a chicken or something like that, that person on the street may not trust that what's in your hand is silver. But no one's going to question that a 1954 Washington quarter that's been in hundreds of thousands of people's pockets actually is silver or not. So because it's made by the most trusted source in the world, there's no question of what the contents of that coin are.
And a shop near me, well, an hour away from me, would have that as well.
Oh yeah, they got buckets of it in the back, or coffee cans. The last time I went to my guy, he pulled out like one of those small, about a little bit bigger than the tub that you put in your sink to wash dishes, the plastic tub.
Yeah.
He pulled out one of those and put it on the counter, and I sat there and I picked through all of them. And I'll be honest, I do go back and I pick some of the older coins because they're beautiful, like the Mercury dime is very beautiful. It has Lady Liberty, and she's wearing the wings on her hat. I forget the name of the hat, but the hat was worn, and the reason why she's wearing the hat with the wings on it, it kind of looks like an FTD florist kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
The reason she's wearing the hat is because that was the hat that was used by slaves that were set free. And that meant, F you can't mess with me, I'm a free man. So they would literally cut the wings off of birds and put them on their hat.
That's crazy.
A Fajiri. I think it's called a Fajiri hat.
Okay.
So those are really beautiful dimes. But when you take that dime and you put it next to an Eisenhower dime, it's literally half as thin because it's been worn down and it's like 60, 70 years older. So there's less content of silver in that beautiful Mercury dime than there would be in an Eisenhower. So I always say, go ahead and buy yourself some of these interesting quarters. They have the standing Liberty quarter, the sitting Liberty quarter. They have interesting half dollars. You might end up with a Morgan. Morgan's even a little bit scratched up. You could still get them very cheap. That's a silver dollar, a Morgan silver dollar. They're fun to have in the collection. You don't have to never buy one that's been graded or someone's trying to sell you because it's in good condition. Never buy silver based on condition, because when the shit hits the fan, it doesn't matter the condition of that coin. It only matters how much it weighs, and nobody's going to give you any extra value for it when it comes down to it. So,
Right.
So that's why Brett S. He has the ability to spend a little extra money and have a coin collection of beautiful coins, because that's where his heart is, and that's okay. But if you're just trying to get yourself ahead when silver explodes, the best way to do it is just get the Eisenhowers, the Franklin half dollars, and the Washington quarters, and also I would stay away from the Kennedy half dollars, because some of them, if they have an S on them, are 90% silver. But if they don't have an S on them, some of them are 40% silver. And then you got that argument going on. So I've stayed clear away from those half dollars, Kennedy half dollars. I only stuck with the Benjamins because they're usually not very circulated, which means less silver has been scraped off. And you can get quarters, Washington quarter, I think they started making them in 1934. So some of the older they get, the thinner they get, and the less value they have. But it's okay if you just want an example of, some coin that hasn't been minted in 125 years. Again, it's not special. There are hundreds of millions of them left on the planet still. But it's something that you don't see much. There's not a lot of extra money in it. No extra money in it. It's just something beautiful to look at and show to a kid and say, hey, 120 years ago, this was a quarter. And if you're not familiar, my favorite, all-time favorite coin is a Trime, Trime. And a Trime is a 3-cent silver coin that was made when they opened up the post office because it equaled, at first, it equaled the price of a stamp. It was 2 Trimes. When the stamps first started, they were 6 cents. Then they went down to 3 cents. Then they went down to 2 cents. So a Trime was always used for, you would, at the beginning in 1856, you would have to give 2 Trimes to the postman to get a stamp. When they dropped the price, you could give him a Trime, he would give you 2 pennies back. Then when they dropped the price again, you would give him a nickel and he would give you a Trime back because the price of a postage stamp went down to 2 cents after they got everything up and rolling. So, and the most rare of any coin is usually at the end of its minting. So they started minting the Trime in 1853 and they stopped minting the Trime in like 1889. So I have an 1853 Trime, and that is worth much less than an 1889 Trime because the population of 1889 Trimes is very low, and there's still hundreds of millions of Trimes. Now, you'll also find Trimes in women's jewelry. What women would do is they would put a pinhole in the Trime and put fishing line or silver, or a jeweler would put silver and put like 50 Trimes on a bracelet, and it made a really beautiful sound because silver makes a beautiful sound. Do you ping your silver?
Don't even know what that is.
Okay, you put the coin on your finger, and you balance it on your finger, and you tap it with something metal, and it'll make a beautiful sound. If you have a fake coin, it'll make a very ugly sound. The hum of the hertz of the hum is very distorted. So that'll be a fun video to look at. And they actually, JC Coin Rings sells this little clamp, and the clamp holds the coin, and then you tap it with a little tool, and then it puts out this beautiful ringing sound. And silver has a very distinctive sound to it. So I have had people send me fake American Eagles. American Eagles are minted by the U.S. Do you have any American Eagles?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what they are. And for the audience, it is the $1 coin minted by the U.S. You could spend it as a dollar, but it's worth what right now? $40 or just under $40. What's an ounce?
I think I saw 37 something today.
So that it's worth 37 something. When you go to buy, let me tell the audience this, they may not know. When you go to buy an American Eagle, you're going to pay a spot price plus a fee. Because say I walk into the coin shop today, and spot, which is the silver's actual value at the very second you walk into that store, because it might go up in an hour, it might go down an hour. He looks at the spot price on the market. He says $37.50 plus a fee for me, because I'm not selling you this coin for free. I need a piece, so I'm going to charge you an extra. It's usually nowadays it's like $4 fee. So now you're paying $37.50 for the coin, plus an extra $4 for the fee so the guy who sold you the coin makes something.
Right.
So hopefully people will catch on to that. And I'm telling you, at silver is the greatest deal in the world right now at $37.50. It is still, even though I was buying it for $13 an ounce, 8-10 years ago, at $37.50, because I believe it's going to be under $100, because it always gets stuck at the $10 mark. Every $10 increment, silver gets stuck below that. It might go over it it might go up to $51 for a day, but when you wake up in the morning, it's going to be back at 38 or $37.50. and it always struggles to get over that $10 increment mark. So I think that we're going to get silver to about $98. And I think because there's less silver on the face, I don't know if I'm boring you or not, but you tapped in. Because there's less silver above the surface of the earth than there is gold, in my opinion, silver is worth more. There's less of it available than there is gold.
Well, it should be worth more now because silver's used in everything.
Right. And that's why they're manipulating the price every single night. And we know how they do that now. They put an order, a big order in for silver at 3 o'clock before the market closes. When they get to work at the morning, they cancel the order.
Right.
And these are Chase Bank, JP Morgan Bank. They've all been busted doing it, but markets across the world continue to do it. And they continue to manipulate the price. But that's good for people like you and I, because we can go out and buy our silver a little bit at a time and not pay the actual
it's
value.
It's great while we're buying it, but
yeah,
I want it to go up.
It will. It has to under Trump. He'll actually, they'll have to clear up that problem, and it'll happen under a MAGA president, whether it's Trump or not, I don't know. But when it does, it would be ridiculous to think that it doesn't eventually hit $490.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen even Goldco sent me something saying the outlook to be something like 500. I hope it.
And then 1,000 wouldn't be unheard of either. Again, there's less silver above the earth that we have access to than there is gold.
Right.
So what makes gold so special, if we're talking about rarity here, and silver mines, buying stock in a silver mine is also not a bad idea either. And there are a lot of YouTube channels that focus on that. One of my friends, Indy XP, who would do a news story every morning, he was following these small silver mines that were all over the south, west of America and into Mexico. And buying stock in those is just as a good idea as almost a good idea as buying silver. But it is paper. But if you want to play in the markets, play with the silver and gold mines, even the copper mines. Might not be a bad idea to start stacking copper. It's really easy to get 1,000 pounds of copper. But when copper goes from $2 or $3 a pound up to $20 a pound, you just made a lot of money.
Right.
I guess copper would be the poor man's silver. The problem is you actually have to keep it somewhere. You're going to get a lot more copper. You could fill up a garage with copper pretty quick.
Right. Around here, just, a few years ago, we had people stealing those copper downspouts off of homes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's this one Appalachian girl that I watch. She's really, really funny. She had a baseball hat on. It said, "Hold my drink. I got to pet this dog." Anyway, she's a funny girl. And she said that some drug addicts started cutting down all of the internet cables what are the fiber optics cables, because they thought there was copper in there, and now the internet is out throughout like half the county.
Oh my gosh.
They thought they were getting copper.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The things people do.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think this would be a nice place to end. It doesn't seem like anybody wants to pop up, so maybe we'll just call it an evening right now. And I do appreciate your time and your becoming a member of the Fun Channel.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing what you will be coming up with here shortly.
It's going to be it was the most amazing. You were in the live stream last night. It was the most amazing 11 adventures I ever went on in my life, and the videos are they're just beyond. There's no two videos that are anything alike. No two adventures. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I'm going to a donut eating contest, but that video isn't even going to come out. That might be my birthday video in September, late September. I might post that one. I know that I have to post a video on my birthday because I do short. There's going to be a new short, a YouTube short on Sunday, a members only video on Tuesday, and then the public video is on Friday every week for the next 2 months. So tomorrow I'm going to do a donut eating contest, which I've never seen before. And then at night, I'm going to do the demolition derby with my offspring and her boyfriend. So,
Cool.
yeah, so my goal here, I still have 3 hours of stuff to edit between. I went to the Blazing M, which was a Western town, and then there's a dinner theater that happens at the end of it. I still got all the glass blowing. We all went and blew 4 different projects of glass. And then I have, which is going to be the hardest, the UFO videos. And what's probably going to happen is I'm going to give like 15 minutes of the UFO videos to the public, and then the best of everything else with all the junk cut out to the members. That's kind of going to be the plan.
Oh, okay.
So I am very, very grateful that you have joined me at this time on that channel. And I hope you have a beautiful Sunday tomorrow.
Thank you. And same to you. And I'm headed to the Nags Head area on Monday. So catch
What's
some
that?
light. Oh, that's it's the Outer Banks in North Carolina.
Oh,
Beach. It's more laid back, quiet. Not a lot of things to do there, but a nice place to go. They have wild ponies and on some of the beaches, and it's kind of neat.
well, I asked my daughter when we were in Sedona, I said, would you move here? And she said, no, I would move to North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
That was her. I'm like, just as long as you're happy with your background, that's all that matters. As long as we're all in a movie and our background is geologically located and connected to our zip code, and I just need a new zip code. That's what I need.
Yeah, I was hoping to move down to Myrtle Beach, but that didn't work out. But maybe if the silver works out, I'll be able to
When
do
the
that one
silver
day.
pops,
That's
you'll be
right.
like, I told you. But my dad is a pretty major stockbroker. He controls over $500 million in stock. Unfortunately, they're all pharmaceutical stocks. And I told him 10 years ago, I said, you need to stop worrying about stocks and you need to start buying silver and gold. And because he brought up the specific coin shop in his town to me months later, I'm like, you took my advice. You're stacking now, man. You're not. You don't have all your eggs in that stockbroker game. You're starting to realize you need something physical in your hand that you can hold on to.
That's right.
All right, Patriot Lily. Peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. And you remember the last part?
I've heard it a million times. Why can't I come up with it?
Keep on smiling.
There we go. I will certainly do that. And you have a wonderful weekend.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, y'all.